Hey everybody. I know it's been a while. It's been a minute. I've been doing well. Uh, just been waiting on God to release anything He wants me to release. Um, I know God has been put on my heart to release a dream I had back in 2013. And this morning I had another dream, so I know He wants me to release it too. So let me just start off by saying we're very close. We are so close to some things happening, to some things being shaken that we can't look to the left or the right. We can't falter now. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. This is the moment that is now. It's not any time left. There's going to be such a big awakening that we all have to be prepared now. Um, the training exercises are almost over, you could say. The amount of refinement God has made us in is almost complete. So we gotta just stay strong. We are going to see some things take place, but no way will it touch us. Look at these. Look at um, what is it? Look at Exodus, and you'll see the Israelites were sealed, but the Egyptians got the brunt of it. Not saying we'll be here through the whole plagues, but we will see a little bit of stuff, but it won't touch us. Um, that being said, so to start off with the dream I had back in 2013. Um, this dream I had when I first, fully committed. I always knew a little bit about Jesus, but it was that year where I said, "All right, God, I'm ready. Let's go for this walk. Let's see what happens." And he proved me wrong. He he astounded me greatly. Um, but this dream I had where I was at home and I had just woken up in this dream and I had to be somewhere. I had to get my house in order by 9:28. I saw it on the clock and I felt it deep in my spirit that I had to do it. It was a must. There was no way looking around it. I had to get my house clean. I had to get my house ready. I had to get my house cleared out of everything by 9:28. And so in this dream, I'm in my room and I get up and I go downstairs and I see all these people. I see people back in my life who weren't really good influences, people who uh, listened to the music that really corrupted me, just bad things I had to get out of my house. And I literally was acting out just said, you guys got to get out. You guys got to leave. You got to go. You got to just get out. And I was being very stern and they left. All of it did. It was like my house is clean in a second. It was like once they were all there, and then a minute they were gone. And I was like, all right, cool, my house is clean. And then I had to just, make sure I was ready for this 9:28 thing. And then there's another part of the dream I don't understand, but there's where I had to go do something for my mom. I had to go get something for her, and then I came back. But I did it before 9:28. At that time, as young as I was in my walk with Christ, I didn't know what 9:28 meant. At the time, I thought it meant, I was getting a job. Because at that time, I did get a job on that date, 9:28 in 2013. And I thought that's what it meant. I was young in the faith. But then, the beginning of this year, God slammed me with that dream again. And He showed me, no, it meant this year of the blood moon. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh, you wanted me to have my house in order by the blood moon on 9:28. And, you know, I was like, that's what He meant so far back. Um, and now I know that it's a preparation. It's the uh, culmination of the bride getting ready by that time. Doesn't mean the rapture's going to happen that time. Doesn't mean we're going to be changed. I don't know. I have no idea. He hasn't gone that far with me, so I can't say it. Um, but that's that dream. I'm always looking for anything the Holy Spirit gives you to say to me. Oh, sorry. Sorry if I'm not speaking right into my mic. If the volume's bad, just please turn it up. Um, I'm always looking for what the Holy Spirit has to say, if He gives you an utterance or a confirmation or connection. You know, there's so many puzzle pieces God is throwing at me now. And it takes some time where I just have to cry out and say, okay, I see all these puzzle pieces. Where would you like me to put them? Because He's just revealing and revealing and revealing and showing me so many signs that, I don't know where to place them. I'm a kid. I'm a child. But there's that dream. The next dream I had was, I had it this morning, and it was so intense. I had it this morning, and what it was I was in some concentration camp. I was in the future. I was in someone else's perspective as a martyred saint. And what happened was, we were in this concentration camp and we were being just treated like dogs. There was no food anywhere. There was no hope anywhere. If I were to look down in the distance, I just saw people being persecuted and tortured. If I looked behind me, I just saw people being tortured and persecuted. I didn't see anything where I could say I can rest here. There was nowhere to rest. There was nowhere to rest. And the thing was, it was police. It was SWAT team. It was the police, military, and they were American. They were definitely American, because I knew how they sounded, and they sounded just like me. They had the articulation. There was no accent on anybody. It was all American people torturing American people. They were all police. All of them were. And in this dream, it lasted so long. It just lasted so long where I was in a perspective of someone there, and I just felt sorrow. It was a sorrow where it was constant. You know how you have sorrow and you kind of feel like, okay, I can rest? Now, this was like a constant sorrow where it just never rested, where you constantly felt sorrow through the whole thing. And it wasn't just a physical pain, it was a spiritual, in your heart you felt sorrow. It was deep in you. It was like you couldn't get out of it. I couldn't get myself out of it. It was just, I was miserable. Miserable. And I saw like thousands of saints around me going through the same thing as me. And so it just made it more miserable. It just added on, and it was so constant, and it lasted so long. And then towards the end of this dream, I'm crying out to God. I just yelled Jesus. I just yell it. And then I look to my left and I see a woman, and she's literally my age. I'm 23, so she had to be either younger or my age. And she's on the ground, and the cop is holding her, just strangling her, just like yelling at her and persecuting her, spitting at her, mocking her, right there in front of everybody. And thousands of saints are behind me, and they're looking at her, and they're in the same miserable state. It is like I felt the perspective God wanted me to be in, and I felt everyone else's perspective, and it was in unison of sorrow. It was like everyone felt it. And the cop was just yelling at her, just being horrible, treating her like a slave. Oh, like she had just done everything wrong, and she did nothing. And that moment, she like blanked out to where she wasn't even looking at the cop. Like the cop was like, I'm her. The cop is like above me, yelling at me, and she like just looked straight ahead, and she's like, I'm hearing this beautiful music. She kept saying that. That's all she said. She says, I hear this beautiful music. I hear this beautiful music. And it was like her pain, her persecution, all the things that, the enemy was doing to her, couldn't even touch her, couldn't even feel her. She was lost in this song. And I never heard the song, but I know it was from God. And I'm like so zoned into what she was looking at and so zoned into what she was doing. I lost everything that's happened to me. And then all of a sudden, the Spirit speaks to me, and He says, there's healing in my wings. And He kept saying that to me, and He kept saying that to me. And every time He said it, and the more I focused on what He was saying, it was like I'm going home. And it hit me. I was like, I'm going home, and the joy of going to see Jesus flooded me. All the pain, all the sorrow, all that constant, long enduring, just horribleness I was in, the situation, the environment I was in, all left me within a second. It was less than a second. And all of a sudden, the joy to see my God flooded me. And I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go home. And all of a sudden, the scene changes where I hear on this like megaphone the police, the police slash I say police slash military because they were wearing blue, but they were militarized. And you know how they are now, like in the government, the Jade Helm type of thing. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But more police color of a blue. They weren't in military color like camo, but blue color. And I heard them yelling announcement like, "Are you ready to go?" Like basically telling us, "Are you ready to go die?" And all of a sudden, it was like we were in a football stadium, and I can't get this sound out of my head. We're in a football stadium, and I closed my eyes because once I felt that, and we all saw this girl hearing this beautiful music, I believe what the Spirit told me, this healing in my wings, everyone else heard it. And all of a sudden, we all closed our eyes and said, "Yes, we're ready to go." We were all shouting. It was like there was a worship moment in there where it didn't matter. And we all marched in thousands to this place to go die. And we were ready. It was like the joy to go see our God was so powerful and flooded us that we didn't even think about death. At that moment when I felt that, I didn't even know what death was, it felt like. I didn't know what dying was. It was just, I'm going to go see Jesus. I'm going to go see Jesus. And then, as we were walking, I heard a lady in front of me say, "All right, I guess this is goodbye." And I said, "No, it's not." I said, "I'm going to see you really soon. I'm going to see you really soon." And we kept marching, and the joy just flooded me. And then I woke up, and it was like, I think I woke up around like 5 o'clock, and I woke up and I just started crying because that same joy I felt in that dream was still here. And nothing can take that away. Nothing can take that away from you. No matter what you're going through, that kind of joy, that kind of love, that kind of promise, that is a promise. And no one can take that away, no matter what you went through. And it overcame death, of me dying. That feeling of wanting to go see Jesus overcame the death. It overcame the torture. It overcame the mocking, the persecution. And it was just beautiful. And I know God was showing me that to give me a perspective of what they're going to go through, but also encouragement. Um, so there's that dream. And man, I had that this morning. I'm still feeling great about it. Um, as always, if God gives you any else's, anything about this dream, I'm always willing to hear that. Okay. Um, Next dream, I had this back in 2013. This one's pretty short, so just bear with me. Um, okay, I was in my house. I was in my house and my old house, and I was upstairs. And this is right after, I fully gave myself to Christ too. Um, I was in my room, and I heard a knock at the door. I'm like, okay, in this dream, this is a dream. I'm in the dream, sorry. In the dream, I knock at the door, and I go to my brother's room, and out of my brother's room, I can look outside my window and see who's at the front door from up top. And so I go and peep out my brother's room out the front door, and I see a police tank. I say tank because it wasn't a car, it wasn't a truck. It was one of those tanks that you see now, during riots. It was one of those in my front, in the front of my street of my house. And I look at our people and I see that. I'm like, okay. And I felt fine. I felt peace through this whole dream. And I walked downstairs, and my mom was in the other room. She didn't come downstairs. And I walked downstairs and I opened the door and I crack it open. I'm like, yes. And she in there, and it's a police woman it's like I think two police cops behind her and another cop, and he has a battering ram, and he's like trying to about to bust open my door if I didn't open it. It was a metal battering ram. It was one of those handheld ones. Um, and this lady is starting to speak all nice and sweet to me, and she's like, "Oh hey, how you doing?" Blah blah blah, just like that kind of tone where she's trying to be like a friendly person. And she's asking for my mom, and my mom hears and comes downstairs, and she's like, "Yes." And I'm in this dream just not really expecting much, but I'm more so just experiencing, observing what's happening. And then my mom starts coming down the steps, and then that's when I wake up. And so I know for a fact soon, very soon, when the riots start getting worse, when this racial war they're trying to start, which is so obvious. It is so obvious they're trying to start a race war. And please don't get sucked into it, people. Please don't. Please don't get sucked into that, because you're just wasting your time and you're just doing what they want you to do. Um, Anyways, once these things start escalating and the economic collapse, which is very coming soon, looking to the Shemitah, that's been confirmed to me a lot, a lot. Um, and the food shortages start happening, all these things start happening where people have to start getting into that survival instinct. I believe martial law is going to increase, and I know you know this is a time where we can't look to the left or the right, meaning like don't look into those things. Don't get sucked into that what the media is doing. Don't get sucked into what the government's trying to get you to do. Just stay focused on Jesus, because He's your only help. He is the only one who will help you. Um, so these are the dreams. God has been poking at me for almost, I feel like 2 weeks about this, and I'm finally doing it because I didn't have headphones. My other ones got just, I don't know, they're not working, and I can't connect my Bluetooth to this computer. So, and God blessed me to find some headphones this morning. And so I was like, all right, I understand what you want me to do today. So here I am. So it's great to, share these things. And I hope everybody's doing well. I know I've been off for months, but I only share things when He wants me to. Um, so yeah, everybody be blessed. See you later.